What's up guys, welcome to another video at Movement Mechanics. Today we are going to talk about the muscle actions involved in movements of the human body. So there are three major muscle actions which are involved when you are doing a certain exercise. We are going to talk about these muscle actions. We are going to understand each and every muscle action with a practical example, and then we are going to understand how these muscle actions can help for rehabilitating athletes and what sort of phases are utilized when you are into rehabilitation based on the muscle actions. So let's dive deep inside this topic and understand some movement mechanics. So the first muscle action which we are going to talk about today is the eccentric muscle action. Now in order for understanding all the muscle action, we are going to take the example of the back squat. A back squat is very good exercise, and for understanding the muscle action, it is going to be very easy with the help of the back squat. Now in context of the eccentric muscle action, the first movement which you do in a squat is basically the eccentric muscle action, because you go down into the squat with gravity, hence there is muscular elongation and not shortening at the muscular level. Also you go with gravity, hence the resistive forces is going to be much more higher than the contractive force. Hence the force production capability of the eccentric muscle action is going to be higher than any other muscle action. There is a misconception that the concentric muscle action, which we are going to talk about in a minute, has got higher force production capability than any other muscle action, but that is a misconception and not the truth. The eccentric muscle action has got the highest force production capability than any other muscle action. Now let's say you do a deep squat, and at your fullest ROM you decide to hold that position for like 2 or 3 seconds. So at the holding the position for a certain amount of time is basically an isometric muscle action. Now isometric muscle action has got equal amount of resistive force as well as the contractive force. Hence the strain on the human body or the human muscles is much more lesser as compared to any other muscle actions. Isometric muscle actions or isometric exercises are very good for novice athletes as well as rehabilitating patients in their initial stages. So the last muscle action which we are going to talk about is the concentric muscle action. Now once you're deep down into the squat, you need to get back up. So at that time, concentric muscle action comes into the picture. Concentric muscle action is all about contractibility. Here the resistive forces are much more lower than the contractive forces. So the muscle is shortening, not elongating. Hence concentric muscle action has got two aspects. One is muscle shortening, and you need to overcome gravity to get back up. So concentric muscle action is the most difficult muscle action to execute, because you need to have excessive amount of muscle strength in order to overcome lots of loads. One is gravity and the load which you are lifting. Before we move on understanding the last aspect of this video, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button as well as the notification bell icon so that you never miss a video when I am uploading a new one. Now what we are going to do is that we have understood the muscle actions. Now we are going to understand the phases and rehabilitating processes with the help of these muscle actions. The easiest muscle action to execute is basically the isometric muscle action. Hence, the isometric phase comes first in rehabilitating processes. The isometric phase generally lasts for 1 to 4 weeks. It can last longer depending upon athlete to athlete and the severity of the injury as well. The second phase to progress is the eccentric phase. The eccentric phase is the most crucial phase because it improves force production capability of the muscle, because this phase has got the highest force production capability than any other phases. This phase generally lasts for 2 to 6 weeks. It can last longer or shorter, again depending upon athlete to athlete and injury to injury. The final phase is basically the concentric phase. Now concentric phase, you need to be very careful regarding loading and the volume of the exercises. You don't need to overload the athlete from day one, because he's just coming out of rehabilitation and started concentric muscle action. Concentric muscle actions are going to put lots of strain on the muscle because of higher amount of concentric forces and lesser amount of resistive forces. So SNC coaches need to be very careful regarding this phase. I hope you have understood each and every concept thoroughly. If you have got any doubts or any question regarding this video, make sure you drop that in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching the video till the very end. See you in the next one.